things got a little more serious. I couldn't skip practices or games. If I wanted to play any other sports, I had to fit them in around my hockey schedule. I worked hard on my schoolwork, and I never needed to be told to do it. Ever since I was a little kid going to tournaments on the weekends, I could get most of my work done in the car or on the way to the hockey game. So once I was there, I could kind of have fun. The trips were fantastic. Since I was always with the same group of kids, it was like we were hanging out in our fort. I loved the hockey, but I think my best memories were off the ice, playing mini hockey in the hallways and then running from the security guards. We really traveled a lot. We usually left Thursday night or Friday morning, depending on how far away the games were. We would have 2 games on Friday, 2 games on Saturday. If you were on one of the better teams and playing in the semifinals and finals, you'd have 2 games on Sunday, too, so it was pretty busy. But at that age, we could play 6 games in 3 days and be fine. We'd play mini hockey, we'd go out to dinner, and we'd just hang around with one another. I played with the same group of 7 or 8 kids from the time I was 8 until the time I was about 15. I really created a bond with those guys. When I wasn't playing hockey, I played baseball and lacrosse. I always loved hockey, but it was great to have time to play other sports too. Sometimes today, I think parents push their kids to specialize in one sport. You've got kids that are like 8, 9 years old who are one-sport athletes, which I don't think is in anyone's best interest. I also like to read, sort of. My favorite books were the Goosebumps books by R.L. Stine. Each book was numbered. I liked collecting them, trying to get every single one. Support system. My dad owned a restaurant in my hometown. It was right by the airport. He worked hard, but now that I look back at it, his main job was just carting me around. He worked Monday through Thursday, and then we would go on our hockey trips. Even though hockey was expensive, my dad always found a way for me to be able to play. It's not only the cost of the Youth Hockey Association fees, it's also the travel and renting motel rooms. I remember coming back with him from a game one time. We had an Isuzu Trooper, and I took a picture on the way home because we had just passed 200,000 miles on the vehicle. That was pretty cool. A whole lot of those were travel team miles. Early mornings. I love to play hockey, but I don't always love to work out. When I was a kid, I sometimes had to get up at 4:30 in the morning for practice. I can't say I was overly excited about it. I'd be half asleep, but I'd get dressed, everything but my skates, and my dad would put me in the car and we would go. When I was a peewee, I had 2 practices a week. One would be Monday morning at 5:30, and the other would be Wednesday afternoon at 5:30. I got used to it over time. I got into a rhythm. Once I was in the rink, I was fine and ready to go. Bantam, ages 13 to 14. Things started to change by the time I got to be a bantam. For one thing, some of the kids who started out really great found they weren't so great anymore. I played against a kid from a nearby town when we were 10 years old. He was like Wayne Gretzky back then. By the time we were 14, he wasn't any good at all. What happened? If he was so much better than me when we were 10, how come I'm playing professional hockey and he's not? Did everyone just catch up to him? Or did he not put in the work? I don't know. But I do know that at age 12 or 13, some kids will grow a foot in a year, and others won't grow until they're 18. Even at my level, I see guys who, for the first couple of years, don't seem as if they're going to be players, and then all of a sudden they figure it out. They get stronger physically. They get bigger. They refine parts of their game they weren't focused on before, and they become great players. It's hard work, and it takes a lot of drive. For most of us, we've been at it our whole lives. When you're 12 years old, there's a big gap between the really good players and the other players. There's still a gap at the NHL level, but it's a much smaller gap from the worst player to the best player on the ice. When I was about 12, 13, 14, I'd be going to the rink and skating when most kids were probably going and hanging out with their friends. It was something I enjoyed. I played other sports too. I kept on playing baseball until I was 13. I played lacrosse most of the way through high school. But it was at this point where I kind of needed to pick one sport if I was going to be serious about it. And hockey was my passion. So I stuck with hockey. The last year I played in Ithaca, I had my first big disappointment. I tried out for the New York State Select 15, a team of the best 14 and 15-year-olds in the state.